Good morning and welcome to Coull Discussions. I'm Barry. This is Chris. Today we're going to talk a little bit about. Recently there was this headline. There's been a couple headlines, so we'll talk a little bit about both, but probably not specifically about these. They're just going to lead into a rant, like everything does on this show. There's been two incidents of a couple children dying here in Alberta. One was this one child. He died from like a meningitis infection, which ultimately led to his death. And the reason that it made headlines is because his parents didn't have him vaccinated, for one.
Really?
And they tried homeopathic medicine. I don't know the complete definition. I had never looked up that stuff. I've only kind of got my information from the news or the interweb, so of course it's correct. They tried homeopathic solutions to his sickness, and eventually they finally called an ambulance when he stopped breathing. And these people were put on trial, and they were the dad was sentenced to 4 months in prison. The mom was sentenced to like
3 month home arrest.
Yeah, like probation or something like that, right? And the second one was this other one where this couple didn't treat their kid's diabetes pretty much. The kid ended up dying at the age, I think it was 15.
Yeah. Just celebrated his...
Yeah, and then he ended up passing
birthday.
away.
Yeah.
So these parents were held on trial. I'm not 100. I don't know if they're what they got ended up getting. I don't know if
endangering, not protecting,
failing to provide the necessities of life.
Yes.
Now the reason that I want to talk about this is because there's two things here. There's obviously how much of a nanny state do you want your government to? Where does the liability end? Right, and then like the vaccination part of it, right? So like obviously you guys know that I'm a big believer that the government, in small government, the government shouldn't be in my life, shouldn't be in my bedroom, shouldn't be, unless of course I'm causing harm to other people. And I think in both these cases, I think these people caused harm to someone else because of their decisions. So that's when you yourself are held liable for something. I had a conversation with a guy at work, and he's like, well, then should you hold the parents of, the stabbing that was in Brentwood? The 5 people, the guy who thought then the parents kind of knew their son wasn't right. So should those parents be held liable? I don't think so, because we're not medical doctors, and we're not medical doctors, so like I couldn't diagnose somebody with a mental disorder, because you can't see a mental disorder. When you can see a kid sick and you've been told by your nurse practitioner friend that your kid has meningitis, and you can see your kid physically losing weight and having bed sores and stuff like that, you know there's something wrong. You know that these things could be like taken care of. If a doctor looked at your child, you would take your child to a hospital. Whereas in that case, like I can't.
Okay, the father did argue this, and now here's the thing: those parents were convicted; they were found guilty, sentenced. The father has shown absolutely no remorse in the case.
Zero.
At all. He even stated that the boy was doing fine until the ambulance showed up, and the ambulance didn't have good enough
the right equipment,
and that's when things went bad for him.
The kid was so stiff they couldn't put him in his car seat or something like that, and it's like, now maybe I'm mixing the two cases.
No. I know you're right. Because the other case is just a horrifying example of torture. Because the other one was a 15-year-old boy when he was dead on scene. When they got there, this child was 45 pounds.
He was light. He was like a skeleton, and I don't understand how you let your kid do that.
Just skin and bones.
I have
sores.
I have an infant child in my house. Okay? I have a very young child. She's just over 1 year old. Okay, and I did not know this, and I was she was sick for months in a row. She ended up having croup at one time, so we had to get her treated for that. But then she just wouldn't get over her sickness. So we took her to the children's hospital a couple times. Like, what's going on? She has a fever. She's this. Like, what's going on? And finally, the last time we went, the doctor was like, "Hey, listen, I know you guys are worried, but a young child's immune system is just building itself. Your child could effectively be sick up to 10 times a year."
I didn't know this.
And I didn't know this, and I was like, "Oh." And they're like, it could mostly be condensed into the winter months because we're inside, we're not outside a lot. And I'm like, oh. So essentially they could be sick for 6 months until their immune system gets stronger and builds itself up. And I went, oh. I didn't realize that. And I went, okay. Now I don't get as worried when she's sick. I still worry, obviously. I want to make sure she's okay. I do the regular. If she has a fever for 24 hours, and I'll take her to the hospital, blah, 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 blah. But now I'm not like, oh, I don't just I go, okay, she's sick, we'll give her a couple days.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Now, and if she's sick a lot in a row, I'm not like, oh, this is,
The one child that died, the two parents, the child was sick for 2 weeks before an ambulance was finally called to the scene. 2 weeks. I don't know about you. Even if the hospital costed a lot of money, I would make sure that my child would go to a hospital after.
And I don't think it was just a cold sick. It wasn't just like, I'm congested and I got a cough. It was sickness where it was
totally different type.
It was a sickness where any reasonable person would have been like, I got to take you to a doctor.
Yeah, the kid it wasn't overly mobile, because we know kids, they're rambunctious, they run around all the place, they have all this energy. But this kid was bedridden, feverish, not necessarily boiling fever, but just really, really warm, not wanting to eat. And from what we were told from the trial, the parents gave them concoctions of horseradish, Tabasco,
honey and tea and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now I'm not 100% sure if they didn't have their kids vaccinated. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm thinking that's.
I think you might get that impression.
Meningitis is part of your vaccinations now.
I honestly don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know what's actually in a vaccination shot. I just got them for my child.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I skipped out once here. 1 year in high school, I skipped out on my last shot.
I'm pretty
awesome.
I'm pretty sure that they weren't. I'm pretty sure that they weren't vaccinated, because I'm pretty sure. I think I remember them talking about in my kid's last one about meningitis or something like that.
Okay. No.
But
we were vaccinated against a lot of things.
We can use this platform. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know, because I can't remember. But we can use it to talk a little bit about vaccinations, and we can, because the reason that I think they weren't vaccinated is because there was a lot of talk about vaccinations during this case.
And on top of that, he actually talked to a producer of a movie, of an anti-vaccination movie. He was talking to him about how they were not doing anything wrong. It was the system that was wrong. They're being railroaded, blah, blah, blah.
I'm all for choice. If you choose not to vaccinate your child, okay. I can't stop you. But you know what I want? I want all public schools to say, if you're not vaccinated, you can't come here. I want all athletic programs, whether it's public or private, I want them to say, if you're not vaccinated, you're not welcome. I want all gyms, YMCAs, stuff like that to say, if you're not vaccinated, you're not welcome. You have the choice not to vaccinate your kid, but I have the choice as a private business to reject you from being into my business. Especially when you're doing stuff like physical activity. Obviously, a restaurant, that'd be pretty hard to say. You need to show your Vax card to get to a restaurant. But if I'm participating in a contact sport or something where you're in close contact with people, then I think that because vaccines are just the right thing to do. We don't have smallpox because we've eradicated that disease. We don't have rubella, or whatever the hell they're vaccinated for, because we've eradicated those diseases. Now, these people out there are saying, these soapbox celebrities are saying, Jenny McCarthy, I'm looking at you, saying, oh, vaccinations cause autism. Well, that's not proven. There's been no proven case of this. And if there has, it's 1 in a billion.
So 6 people in the entire world right now.
Okay? I would take those odds. I'm taking those odds. if somebody said, we're going to give you $10,000 599 billion times out of 6 billion, I'd be like, okay. Or we're going to take your life one time out of that. I'd be like, okay. No problem. And I'd probably do it 2 or 3 times because I'd be like, okay. You know, and it's just like, get your kid vaccinated, number 1. Number 2, take care of your children. If you think that, if there's something wrong with them, obviously every new parent goes through it where you're like, where you go to the hospital too much. I've done it because you don't know. You're like, I don't understand. And it's weird because in my experience, it took 3 doctors. It took finally to the last one to sit there and explain to me, hey, listen, like, we get your concern, but this is why your kid could be sick so much. And obviously it's common sense. I should have known that. I should have thought of that, but I didn't because
you're worried.
It's your kid, you're worried.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it's like, okay. Now I go, okay. Cool. Well, she ended up having like other problems. She kind of has a little bit of asthma, so the one time that we took her, we found that out. Now we got puffers for her and stuff like that. And she seems better. So it's good. But it's just it angers me when I sit here and I see, like, especially in that case, because like you said, the guy that has no remorse. The guy when he talks to the camera, even both of them, they seem like they don't even care.
Well, the mother has done the fake, the crocodile tear thing. It's like, oh, this is the worst decision in my life. Well, okay. But you're not really admitting that you were at fault. You didn't do anything wrong. You're just saying, oh, this is the worst decision. Well, what decision are you saying you're feeling bad for? The calling the ambulance one?
Yeah, exactly.
Or something else?
Well, that's the thing, and you can't just throw a blanket fix to all of this over it. You know what I mean? You can't, but because then you open up a liability to, parents are going to be scared to do certain things. They're going to be scared to, it's like, well, what do? I don't want to accidentally have my child die, and then I'm held liable. And it's like, well, I think again, it comes back to each case has to be looked at individually, and do the parents deserve to? In the one case of the meningitis, do they deserve to be put in jail? Well, that's kind of up for debate.
And that was one of the debates was actually the prosecution wanted a couple of years in prison. The defense wanted no time served, right?
Yeah.
So the judge only gave 4 months and 3 months, which, okay, the 3 months house arrest, I get. She's the mother. They have 2 other children. Instead of putting them in foster care for a year or longer and have the children suffer because of it, you have one parent stay home and you have one parent.
You would
go
hope
to jail.
that the loss of a child would be enough to knock some sense into somebody, but it doesn't. I don't think it will. In that case, I don't think it will. In the second case, do those parents deserve to be in jail? Yes.
Oh yeah,
because they outright did not provide what you need to provide for your child to be alive.
Now, yeah, and what's worse is they also went, well, not homeopathic route, they went to the prayer route. Apparently, they had prayer sessions all the time saying, please heal our son, please heal our son. In BC, they had previous encounters with the government. They'd taken to a hospital. The mother was told, your son has diabetes, and the mother was, no, he doesn't. And that was it. And child services was called, but nothing was done. So, not to blame the government, but there might have been something done a little earlier. Maybe, maybe not, maybe,
yeah.
maybe. But the thing is, she might have said, oh, okay, I believe you, we'll start taking care of him. And that's what should happen, is if the parent says, we'll start doing right.
Absolutely.
The government should go, okay, I'll check in on you in 6 months. And that's it. There shouldn't be... Because it's starting to become really, really bad nowadays because if you... Damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you don't do anything, you're in trouble. If you do something and it's not the right thing, you're in trouble. Accidents do happen.
You don't want to open the door for liability for everything, obviously.
Yes.
You know, but there has to be, again, it just comes down to each individual case. You have to be able to, you know, if I lost a child and it was my fault, I'd be devastated because I chose to, you know, like, because of my beliefs, you know, like, it's weird because if I have a belief, like I'm in, I have no religion, I don't, you know what I mean? But I'm not gonna sit there and raise my child to not believe in something. If he wants to believe in a religion, I'm gonna support him 100%. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give him my opinions, and I'm gonna let him come to his own. You know what I mean? And I want to allow everybody else to do that. But at what point do you put the liability and the responsibility on a parent, on somebody for?
Well, and these are good examples because these are two parents that have gone to trial about endangering their child. Okay, in most cases, parents don't go to trial because they haven't done anything wrong.
Well, it's like the Brentwood case, right? The father and the parents admitted that they knew something wasn't right,
and they were thinking about
doing something, but they didn't know. They were like, well, you know, they
didn't know he'd go that far.
They didn't know so like in that case, do you hold the parents responsible? I don't think so because this person was an older kid. He was over 18, right?
Yeah, they were all
he's an adult. So he's an adult. So you know, but you don't want to open the liability where it's like if your kid does something at 16 and kills somebody, then you're liable because you didn't notice. You know, you didn't know that your kid was psycho, and it's like, well, you can only do so much. You know what I mean? Like, are you going to forcefully drag your kid to a therapist? Are you know, like?
Actually, you can.
Well, you can.
You can be thrown into a hospital, and the child has.
But
no
if the
say
child
in it,
just gets
it's up to
away,
the kid.
like it doesn't. A crazy person is going to kill if they want to kill.
They'll find a way. Yes.
They'll find a way. You know what I mean? I don't believe the government should be able to come into my house and tell me how to change my kids' diapers. You know?
You can show me how.
You know what I mean?
Because I might not know how. That's fine, but it's like, no, you have to go left, right,
yeah,
center.
I don't believe that.
But I go center, right, left.
But in these two cases, I believe that you got one where emotionally, should the parents be put in jail? Of course. I believe that they're idiots. I believe that they should be given a smack in the face. You know what I mean?
In the one kid where in the diabetes kid,
they should be
parents should
put
go
in jail.
to jail for manslaughter.
Yeah,
I think so. That's exactly what they did. They literally starved them to death.
Exactly.
In the meningitis case, I think the father should have gotten a year, and the mother not out of compassion for the other two, but have the government check in on them.
I wonder if the other kids are getting vaccinated now. You know what I mean? Like I'm not of I'm not of the herd mentality. You know, I'm not the. You know, I'm not of the hey, go do this. I believe I get my kids vaccinated because I believe it's the right thing to do.
Well, okay, now
if they said,
that in a nutshell is the herd mentality, kind of right there, because generally,
yeah, I understand.
Okay,
you were
in
being
the case
told.
of vaccinations, the herd mentality is a good thing because if you're getting everybody vaccinated, those people who can't actually get vaccinated, like the elderly or like people with compromised immune systems, if we're vaccinated, there's a less chance these people are going to catch it because we aren't going to catch it. So it's kind of helpful in that regards.
Imagine if they said, we have a shot, a needle, a medicine, an antibiotic that cures all cancer in everybody. But you have to take one pill a day for the rest of your life. We'll provide this for free. The government provides it for free. Would you take that pill?
Interesting point.
You know what I mean? I think I would, because I
Cure all cancers. That's
if I trust the medical, I trust science, I trust these people who are in these fields. Obviously, there's the pharmaceutical medicine is based on the illness, so they would never put out they make money off of people being sick.
Well, okay, that's the same argument for cancer. Actually, they make more
Yeah,
money
off
in
of
finding
treatment,
the cure
yeah, off of treating
than they
disease.
would if they actually cured cancer. Because there's been rumors around the internet that they cured cancer a long time ago.
Yeah, but they keep
But they keep it under
more
wraps.
profitable to
Yeah.
treat the disease than it is to cure it. You know
So
what I mean?
that paranoid in me going, well, one pill a
Well, that's the thing.
day.
Like okay, then you're going into
Okay.
conspiracy. You're going along those
Oh.
lines. Exactly. You're like, is this for real?
Well, okay, but I kind of get where some people come from. It's kind of like, well, that was easy. Well, sometimes it is easy. And we just make it complicated just because we're human.
It's like when you're looking for your keys. It's in the most obvious spot. But you look and you tear your house apart because where did I lose my keys? And then you look and they're hanging where you normally put your keys. You just didn't notice them the first time you looked. You know what I mean? And it's like, again, back to I'm all for choice. I am. But I just think my choice is to have myself and my children vaccinated. And would I take the pill to cure all cancers? Probably.
I would be
Probably.
skeptical.
I would probably let other people take it first just to see. If they said you have to start it now, I'd be like, why can't I start it when I choose?
True.
You know what I mean?
That's a good counterpoint. It's like, well,
You
can I wait a couple of weeks?
Well, exactly. Can I wait a little bit to see if there's anything that happens?
You would obviously hope that they would test it and have human guinea pigs to make sure that they don't die grotesque deaths.
Obviously there is obviously still with vaccines, there's still the risk of allergic reactions and stuff like that, and there is rare cases.
He said, a little while ago, if you had a 1 in a billion chance, okay, we'll do this. If they found a cure for cancer, but it had even as low as a 1 in 100,000 chance mortality rate. I'm sorry, but if I had cancer, I'd take it. I'm going to die anyways.
Yeah, exactly. So
So if I die soon, oh well, I'm that unlucky guy. But you know what? That 99,999 chance, people won't. So you're playing the odds, but I play the lottery. I have a better chance of getting hit by an airplane than I do winning the lottery, but I still play the lottery.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think these two cases should educate us, and I believe that if you don't have your child vaccinated, you shouldn't be able to go to public school. I think you should have to homeschool your kid or send them to a private school
With other non-vaccinated
because,
children?
we don't have polio because we've eradicated the diseases. Smallpox and polio killed millions of people when they are around. Mm-hmm. Now they kill nobody. Well, they kill such a small number that it's
and because
in comparison to population,
anti-vaccination has such a religious overtone in the States. There has been an outbreak of polio and an outbreak of smallpox, and it's just like, these are supposed to be dead.
We're bringing
and
back
the only
things.
people that are supposed to have examples of these diseases are the CDC under lock and key, because smallpox was used as a biological weapon.
Because of how severe it is and how much damage and carnage it does. You got your kids vaccinated, right?
Yeah, I did.
Why did you get your kids vaccinated?
Because I was supposed to. I don't want them growing up with a disease that could easily just go. If they're a child, now mind you, holding them, I had to hold my children.
Yeah, that's hard. Yeah, so did I.
When the doctor stuck her with the needle, and then after the needle, it's like, oh, go to mommy, and mommy's the good guy. It's like, no, I'm the bad guy.
Yeah, that's what we did too. Yeah. Okay, Dad, hold him. Oh, okay, Mom, console him. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, what? No, but yeah.
Even if something happened to one of my children through a vaccination, and I would still believe that you should get your children vaccinated. I would still be of the
devastated,
of course.
But I understand that, unfortunately,
you take a risk.
Every time you go for surgery, any kind of surgery, you run into the risk of complications.
Yeah.
Just local anesthetic
Could kill you.
in a very, very rare case will kill you. But, what was it? The missus got carpal tunnel, right? And sitting there waiting, and it's literally like a little factory line, like, next. I think I saw 4, so the missus would have been 5th in the time from when they opened, so about an hour and a half.
To do the surgery?
Yeah, from an hour and a half later, 5 people had gone through. The missus was 5. There was 2 more people waiting.
Wow.
And just... But... so, it's... We do it so often. It's become commonplace.
You forget the risk. You forget that there
do.
is risk. You think it's just a normal. How many operations are done in the world in a day? How many vaccinations are given in a day? How you look at like third world countries. How many diseases are killing off people that we could that would be a cure with a vaccination for these people? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like now, obviously, tinfoil hat wearing people are gonna be like, they're putting bugs in us. They're putting chips to follow us around, and it's like, okay.
They don't need chips to follow us around.
We all
have
carry
your cell phone.
Yeah, we all carry smartphones. If you carry a smartphone and you're worried about a chip being injected into you,
well, too bad. It's already there.
That's right. That's right. I don't know. That's just my couple cents. My spewing of bullshit. I think you look at these 2 cases, and then I think this is a good example. These 2 cases are a good example of where liability should fall. When you purposely do harm to another child, in the one case of the diabetes, are you liable? Yes. When you do harm by a belief in a choice, are you liable?
Now, okay, prayer does have a point. Homeopathic medicine has a point. The Chinese have been practicing different style of medicine for 1,000 years, and a lot of it does actually work. Prayer, in some cases, can provide miracles, but miracles are not the norm. They're the exception. The doctors can just as easily be an answer to a prayer as a miracle.
Again, I'm going to trust the science and the doctors over anything. You know what I mean? Again, and it could probably be because they want money. They get money for treating the illnesses, not curing them, but
that's a conspiracy for another day.
That's right, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to us on the YouTubes, like, comment, share. Go to Facebook.
You can share on YouTube?
Yeah. What? Yeah, you can share from YouTube to...
from YouTube.
There's the ability to share and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Go to our Facebook page, like, comment, and you can share directly from your Facebook page. It goes on your timeline so all your friends can see these wonderful gentlemen talking about utter bull crap. Go to our iTunes. We're on iTunes. It downloads. So you can just hear our voices. If you don't like looking at us, you can just hear us. Mm-hmm. Other than that, guys, have yourselves a great week.